What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Mr. Soul of a Man. We are live and we are in living color. Let's see. On a very, very foggy morning here. So yeah, man, it's a it is a foggy, foggy morning. I'm like it's like 8 o'clock, and it's like, where is the sun at? Goodness gracious. Like seriously, man, it's like, where is the sun at? So, but let's get into it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, folks, wherever you are watching this broadcast this morning. So today we are talking about I do not fear, I don't fear the darkness because it knows my name. So we're talking about I don't fear darkness because it knows my name. Let me write that down. All right, so again, we're talking about I don't fear the darkness because it knows my name. And so within that, a lot of people would ask the question, a lot of people would beg to ask the question, why do the good people have to go through the most darkest, craziest things? It is because you were chosen, it's because you were strong enough, and it's because um you survived those things. And you survived those things. It's like, okay, cool. So the word is that, if you survived your darkest times, and for a lot of us, those darkest times probably wrapped up within the last 3 years, man. If people could go and tell their testimony about the crazy things that they have been through within like the last 3 years, so to speak. Oh my goodness, man. Like the TED Talks are probably in like the millions of views, out here, like around the world, and just telling people, how they survived this and how they survived that, and really and truly how they still have a solid mind. That's the important thing. How they still have a solid mind after going through the darkest times in their life, and the things that came along with, and the things that they had to that how they had to survive, and how they had to survive, and all of that good stuff. So it's now like, I don't fear the darkness. Just like when I went to go work out this morning, and when I was driving through all of that fog this morning, I was cautious, yes, but afraid, no. So, I think it's just a thing of, you can be cautious, of course, but it's just a thing of that, you're not afraid. You're not afraid to go out and do something totally new. Like myself, I always find myself doing something new, like over and over and over again. It's always a reinvention of the wheel. You know what I mean? It's really and truly, it is always a reinvention of the wheel. No, this is, yeah. Let me see something. Um, okay, that's cool. Yeah, so it's always a reinvention of the wheel. People go through things, man, and you handle it how you handle it. I'll never be one to tell you, how to whatever with your life. That's you. You're grown, and you know. But one thing is, you never can say, well, I never had anybody. It's like you always have a choice in the matter. So You can go in petrified, even if you go through fearful, that's okay. But when you're when you get used to that gravity, when you get used to the gravity of the situation itself within the maximum capacity of it, you're like, like the first time you've maybe, I don't know, drive a car or fly on an airplane or whatever, get in an Uber, because remember people used to say, don't talk to strangers and don't get in the vehicle. Now what do we find ourselves doing? Getting in a vehicle with strangers. Tell you, man, it's stranger to fiction, but it's reality. It's just it's what it is out here. But it's just that fear factor. Once you tame the lions in your life, really and truly, once you tame the lions in your life, that fear factor almost becomes non-existent. Not the fact like yesterday, not saying that I had a day of like worry, but I don't know. Some of the day I was kind of like in yeah, part of a thought process, 'cause so it's like, oh man, I have this free time, but I found out what the free time, use it wisely. That's what you do. You have to, you gotta use the time wisely while you have it, because things are going to be happening very fast, very soon, very suddenly. This is going to be it's going to be a year of suddenly. I'm getting that story of David, how um David, I think it was a Namibian lion he killed. He came back and he was like, "Well, hey, I took care of that lion in the cave." His dad didn't, but I think it was his stepfather. He didn't believe. I don't know, but he didn't believe him. He was like, "Oh no, you're making that up." And then the thing with the bear, he killed the bear, and so that's prep work. That was prep work. So when he faced Goliath, it was like, you know, boom, and then that was done. One hit a quitter, baby. Seriously, so even though these things may be like, you may see like you're the Goliath that's, even though you may see that Goliath that stands in front of you, the important thing is that you are fit to handle it based on everything else that you have done. Seriously, that is really and truly just based on everything else that you've done. Right. And so, now it's, we're talking about I don't fear the darkness because now it knows my name. And this is just based on this is based on your life event. So this is for you, this is based on a true story. Really and truly for you, this is based on, for you, this is based on the true story. This is your encouragement to go forth and to do some amazing things, today, this week, this month, and today, this week, this month, and moving forward. So it is just within you. It is just that it is that eye of the tiger. And yes, this year they are going to hear you roar. Yes, they are. In magnificent ways, really and truly, in these yeah, so they're gonna hear you roar, in like magnificent ways, man. So it is, even though we go outside into the darkness and we might have to go out at night, we don't fear the darkness. Because again, because the darkness now knows your name, and just like in your journey spiritually, people call it what is it, the midnight journey of the soul or the night journey of the soul, something like that, where you're going through these things and it feels soul crushing, and that's when you find out you're a generational curse breaker. You're feeling all of these emotions, all of these things that you're feeling. It's like a lot of trauma. It's like a lot of trauma. It's like a lot of trials. It's like a lot of trials and tribulations, that you have to go through. It's your Job moments. It's your Job moments. But through that, you continuously have that elevation. It's like through that and to that. Like I said, that song, "Take Me to There, Take Me." You have these Job esque elevating moments. That do not hold you back. Can't hold you down, because you have something. It's like when you have something, it's like, look at your life like this right now. It's like you have something that is totally for you, that is totally on your mind, that nothing is going to stop you, nothing is going to stand in your way. Just like if you are when you were younger, you wanted to go to the mall. There was a certain outfit you wanted, or there was a certain, I don't know, there was certain music that you wanted to CD, or you wanted to download it, or if you're a coffee drinker, you're like, oh, I gotta have my coffee in the morning. I gotta have my coffee in the morning. If you're one of those people, what if that coffee is that thing that you want the most, nothing is gonna stop you from getting that coffee in the morning. Like, really and truly, nothing is going to stop you from getting that cup of coffee in the morning. So, I said that to say this, that, within this year, you have this thing. This year is your date with destiny. This is that year. You are that person. You sacrificed a lot for this. You have, that's just like, um, you go to college, you go to all of these different things, and you're like, yeah, now I get to graduate. Nothing in the world is gonna stop you from, once you've, got all your credits and all of that stuff. Nothing is gonna stop you from walking across that stage, because it's a day of celebration. It's your day of celebration. Now, what comes after that comes. That's just what that is. But on that day, that's your day to go in. On that day, that's your day to be miraculous and be amazing, and just to be, hey, look at me, I've accomplished something. Well, I feel like I've accomplished something, great and amazing, in my life. So you have something, you have a higher calling and a higher purpose this year, and nothing is going to get in your way. Nothing is going to stop you. Seriously. Just like I pointed out. What's going on, Yashua? Just like uh, just like these other things, that you truly wanted, or that you ever wanted in your life. Nothing stop you. If you're I don't know, a certain TV show, or if you're a gamer, or if you, I don't, whatever, if you like to go fishing, nothing. You're gonna do what you have to do. Yeah, so you're gonna do what you have to do to make these things happen. Like, really and truly, you are going to you're going to do what you have to do to make these things happen, because this is something for leisure or whatever. You have that purpose in your mind, so now you have that purposeful calling over your life. And this year for you, that happens. This year for me, that happens. This is the beginning of something evolutionary and revolutionary. This is for you in your life, this is the beginning of something evolutionary and revolutionary, where you go and you make that happen. And that's just, like Stone Cold would say, and that's the bottom line. And that's just what that is, man. That there's only getting to it. You got through it. Today we're talking about, I don't fear the darkness, because it knows your name. So now the darkness knows your name. So now you have that you have that experience of going through to get to, and it's happened before. So this is a greater culmination of that, for this year in your life. Higher callings, higher velocities of favor, of faith, of divinity, of supernatural favor, that you can call down. You know how the military can call down certain strikes to take out their enemies. Now you have that same favor in your life because of because of your prayers, because of your divine lineage. You have that same favor. So don't be afraid to call that in. It's like this is a year of I see it. This is a year of for you of like I see it. I want it. I got it. I gotta go get it. It's just like when you were younger out there in the dating world. You see somebody like the guy said, oh, they're fine, and you're like, you're like, man, I gotta get with them and blah 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 for whatever reason, and you did that, and I don't know, but so yeah, same thing, same, so we're applying the same, we're applying the same principle, but for we're applying the same principle, but with a greater impact. It's yeah, that's just destined. It's just what it is this year. We talking big stuff. We talking big. It's just like man, when I get on that court, y'all in trouble. When I get on that field, man, I'm gonna be faking that dude out. I'm about to fake this dude out of his shoes. You're the receiver and they the what is it, the cornerback or whatever, you know, and you literally fake this dude, you shake him out their shoes. Like seriously. That's the kind of, that's the kind of speed that you're working with. That's the speed you're working with now. You have a very powerful law of attraction that is you have a very powerful law of attraction that is around you, that is going to show the naysayers, who you are, not just who you are, but whose you are. But you have to remember, yeah, are you talented? Of course you are. Yes, very multi-talented at that. But you still got to go out, and you still got to go out and put in the work. Just like I am, just like I told myself this year. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna go put in the work and just put myself on autopilot, man. So I'm not overthinking it. I'm not thinking too much. I'm just like, you know what? I have everything inside of me that I need. Everything is going to. I'm not worried about what's to come. I'm not worried about what's not there, who's not there. All of that stuff is in alignment. All of that stuff. All of that stuff is in alignment. This is my um, this is my destined year. This is nah, sorry. this this is my destined year. This is uh this is my destined year. This is my year this is my year of all access. Whatever it is that I need, I am going to have access to it. So again, whatever it is that you feel like you need, you're going to have all access to it. This is your year. This is your year. This is your year of all access. This is moving forward. This is going to be a very. I'm getting those little chills as I talk. So that's confirmation. And I just heard the garbage man outside. So all of the trash has been taken out of your life. All of that. Those people are gone. For whatever reason, and but this is a banner year for you. This is a banner year for you. This is a blockbuster year for you. I'm trying to see where the likes are. Cool, yeah. So yeah, so this is a banner year for you, and this is a blockbuster year for you. And I think I'm gonna talk about it later. Let me see. Yeah, so it's like that no holding back. No holding back, no retreat, no surrender. Seriously, you um again, you have everything. You're not just qualified, you're overqualified. Just be mindful that they are very fortunate to have you there. Whatever it is that you're going to be doing, they should be ecstatic to have you there. Like, man, I mean, like, wow, I know that you were, the right person for the job, but that, man, we're so thankful that that it should be nothing less than that coming out of their mouth this year, surrounding you. It should be nothing other than them being thankful. Like, man, I know, because again, this is going to be a. They say, not just booked and busy, but overbooked and busy. But don't overwork yourself. Seriously, don't overwork yourself. But anyway, a lot of what was those people, they underappreciated you and they undervalued you. That was the cause of it. I need to put my glasses on. Let me see. Yeah, so they underappreciate. So they undervalued you. So you were very much so you are very much so undervalued and underappreciated by whoever it was that was there. That's why they're not there anymore. That is why that is why they're not there anymore. So it's not it's really a time of this is a year of this is a year of celebration. Early congratulations for you for all of the amazing things that you are going to triumph over. I remember telling one of my cousins a while back, like, I forgot I told him something, like, just kind of gave him a glimpse of like what I was doing a few years back, and he was like, "Man, I didn't know you were making connections like that." Oh, yeah, yeah, because and know that you deserve just because people might have been doing it, maybe let's just say just because people might have been I'm gonna take this off, yeah. So just because people might have been doing it a little longer than you, that doesn't mean you're any more what's the words I'm looking for? Yeah, just because they've been doing it longer than you and maybe been in higher spaces or whatever like that, you deserve to be there, if not more than them. There you go. So yeah, so you really and truly deserve to be in those. You really and truly deserve to be in those spaces. If not more than them, like really and truly, like seriously, you do. So just because you meet people, and these might be people that you hold, and how we, I don't know, whatever it is, this might be the best of the best, as you are the best of the best at what you do. That's the thing I want you to put in your mind. That's the thing I want you to be focused about, and that's the thing I want you to be focused and purposeful about. You deserve to be in these rooms just as much as the next person. Because you've been over these last few years, man. You deserve all of the accolades that are coming to you. I don't know. I see you at somewhere at some ceremony, like, and they're putting something over you, like some kind of a something. It's like I don't know, it's like a medal of honor or something like that. So you're about to really and truly be honored, man. You are really, you're really and truly henceforth moving forward. You're about to be honored. So, but I just feel grateful, grateful, grateful. Yeah, grateful is the name. What? Grateful, grateful, grateful is the name of the Lord. So, we stand in grace, and we stand in the and we stand in the midst of great company, man. And that's just natural. That's just naturally what that is, and again, you are I was telling somebody this yesterday. This is the year where you show people, it's not just, it's just not about it's not about telling, it's not you just being boastful and bragging, but it's just the truth. You are you are it. You are one of one. You are the best at what it is that you do and how you do it. It's been like that for a long time. It's like people would tell me, oh, you have to stop playing small and blah blah blah. It wasn't that I was playing small. It was just that, maybe I just wasn't ready. The time wasn't right. It's just, I mean, sometimes what do they say? You just gotta let it cook, man. You do. You really and truly, you just have to let it cook until the time is right to take it out of the oven, and there you go, and boom, voila, you got a great meal, and it smells great, and it looks great, and you eat it, you feel great, and all of that. So just saying that there's greatness, there's greatness that um there is, that there is greatness that is around you, that is substantially, around you. You have the ability now to go and learn and master like so many other things that you have no idea that you had the potential to do, that has been inside of you, that's been cooking, like, okay, cool, now it's time, like your ancestors are like, yeah, your ancestors have been putting in work for a while for you. So the answer is like, yeah, come on, we need you to meet this person, we need you to meet these people, it's time for you to go out and it's time for you to go out and get busy. It's really time for you. It's showtime. Your name is in the marquee, the bright lights, the big stages, and all of that good stuff. It is. It's your time. You know, so go out and you're gonna go out and do. You're really and truly going to go out and do amazing things. See, when it echoes like that, it's gonna be for real, man. Wait, put this. Yeah. So yeah, very much so time for you to go out and just do amazing things, because you're not you're at that point where you're not afraid of the darkness, anymore. And I'm not saying that because it's daytime outside. So you're not you're just not afraid of the darkness anymore. That has become a part of you, seriously. So you can operate in those worlds. You can operate in the darkness, and you can operate in the light, and in between. So you can you can come up with things at the spur of the moment that'll probably just shock people. It's like, oh, how'd you do that? Or wow, where'd that come from? Yeah, that's just you and those that walk with you. That is what is inside of you, and that's just what that is. You can come up with these bright and amazing ideas on the spot. You're like that. Yeah, so you're like Johnny and Jane on the spot, coming up with these amazing, like, I don't know, coming up with these amazing ideas. Somebody yesterday said, oh, it's good that you're live. And they were like, oh, they said something. I think that's another reason I came up with this topic, because they said something about fear. And somebody said there's nothing to fear but fear itself. So it wasn't naturally fear. It was just the point of, I just didn't have the time. I was trying to tell them that, when you working and all of this other stuff, and you got, life is happening, and you gotta, sometimes you just gotta stop and do some other things, man. But when you do have the time, very appointed to use it wisely. Like seriously, get yourself, like get yourself on a schedule, on that routine. So you just knocking stuff out of the way. So when when these big major opportunities come, you're ready to go. Like really and truly. I just see gold. I see a lot. I just see gold, man. I see a lot of white, but um, I just see like I just see the naysayers and the haters being silenced. I see that, I see that over your life. I see like the what's going on, Miss Quiet Storm, are you? But just I see the naysayers and the doubters. No. I see the naysayers and the doubt. I see a lot of stuff being canceled out. I do. And now it's now of course, you're gonna be solid, like I said, blockbuster, all of that stuff. But we go, um, this is a lot. This is kingdom work. This is ancestral building. We have to go out and, help people. We gotta help people with the skill set, and when the big opportunities come, and they're very 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 soon, and you're knocking those out of the way with your purpose and your drive and all of that good stuff, and you show up as your authentic self, and in X, Y, and Z, people are, they're going to truly understand who you are, and that's why I say, you're moving forward with this. You're moving through this year unapologetically, undeniably who you are, who you were always supposed to be. um like you're gonna just be in places, and you're just gonna be like, you know what, man, this just feels right. It really does. So, yeah. So Daniel could walk into the lanes, then hey, for real, man. So you're again. So if you do have a little free time now, just use it wisely, and get some things knocked out of the way. And I'm telling you, like very soon, people are going to. They're not just going to hear about you, but they're going to know you. They're going to, it's almost like saying, your reputation precedes itself. Like seriously, really and truly, like they're going to say, like, your reputation, your reputation precedes itself. So I'll say this: they may have the numbers, like social media wise, but you've always had the talent. That's just, and they could try to copy everywhere. You know how some of those big influencers, they don't really have any talent. They just have a lot of numbers, and they'll steal. Like I've seen that they'll steal stuff from create, like the small creators, word for word, line for line, but they don't have your charisma. They don't have what you have inside of you. They don't have, they don't have it to be on those big stages, and just to walk, just to get a phone call, and I don't know, a day before, and now, like, hey, we need you to come and blah 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 blah, and you show up, and you just come in there, and you just rock the mic and blow the roof off of the place, and they were like, hey, look, you think you could come back tomorrow? You think you could come back tomorrow, and man, we're like, well, we'll pay you X amount and this and that. So, so now you've gone from a last minute call to being a headliner of some whatever that is. So, but yeah, man, that's so it's like you're not next up. You're up now. It's like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. You're like, you're up now. Like I remember that story. I probably told the story before, that with Will on the Fresh Prince. And he was with forget that man's name. Quincy Jones. There you go. He was with Quincy Jones, and he was like, "Hey man, um, I need you." Quincy was like, "Hey man, I need you to go and do this thing for the show, and it's blah blah," and it's this and that, and Will, it's like kind of like on the spot, and Will was like, I don't know, man, I don't know if I'm ready. Just give me like what he said, give me a week. He was like, okay, cool, all right, a week. You got a week. All right, a week. Yeah, yeah, cool. All right. So in that week, everybody that's here, the I don't know, the executives, the producers, everybody that needs to see you, um, yeah, they won't be here. All right, cool. Get you a week. He's like, well, man, maybe 2 weeks. Okay, cool. 2 weeks. All right, same thing. 2 weeks, and all these people won't be here. Or you can go out now, take advantage of the opportunity, and yeah, of course, we know the rest was history, all that stuff. But you know what I'm saying. So when the opportunities come, take advantage of them. I don't whatever go out because you're ready. You're ready now. You're ready today. Like seriously, you are really and truly ready. And so like that old saying, stay ready. So that's why I'm me personally, it's only me, and that's why I'm like let me get myself focused, mentally focused. Let me get myself, let me get myself in the gym because um, I don't need anybody telling me that. I really don't need anybody telling me that. It'd be nice, if you had, but if you don't, sometimes you got to be your own motivation. Sometimes that's just it. Got to get yourself up. You got to get yourself moving, and that's your purpose. That is the way, and that's just a part of your purpose. So silence that voice that's in your mind that's trying to pull you back because now it's put the keys in a car, fill with gas, and it's time to go. That's just that is just what that is. Where are we at numbers wise? I'm trying to see. Hold on. 9 point. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, man. So that's you are celestially covered. I'll just put this on your plate as well. You are celestially covered in how you move, what you say. Um, yeah, so you may slip up. Just repent. Just keep moving. That's the thing. Keep moving. Now when you walk this spiritual walk, and you are so covered, you don't have to wait till like, oh well, I'll just wait till Sunday and go to church, and that's your thing, cool. That's how I used to be, but that when you're favored by God, and that's big, man. I cannot immensely tell you how big that is. Um that is just I don't know. I don't have a word for it. You know that is just I don't know. That's just on whole. That's on a whole nother stratosphere. But anyway, when you're marked or chosen, you go. You of course you go through all of these different things, and um, yeah. So it's. Let me see something. Um, it's the like the what is it ascended. You become this ascended master. You do. That's the word. There you go. So you become, you really and truly you become this ascended master, because you got the grace and the knowledge and the wisdom and all of this, and you have just divinity over your life. You have a higher purposeful calling. That's why it took to this point to get you there. And like me, probably like you, we've seen flashes of it in the past, but now it's going to be more of a consistent, and you've given your consent, and use me, Lord, and all of that. And so yeah, so you've given your consent to go out, and you've given your consent to go out and to be amazing. Let's see, what is that? Yeah, so you've really and truly, you've given your consent to go out, and to be amazing. So it's really no it's really no stopping you. No stopping you at this point. So, because again, covered, purposeful, all of those words again. So we were talking about I don't fear the darkness because it knows my name. Yes, the darkness knows your name. And so does the light and everything else in between. But and everybody else is about to find out real quick. Everybody else is about to find out real quick who you are and who you are and what you're capable of and all of that good stuff. So yeah, so just continue to get your ducks in a row. So when that time comes, you're not like, oh, I gotta, so split second. I'm also getting split second decisions. You may have to a lot of when with the stuff that's coming up, you may have to like shift on a dime because even though you're busy, you might get a phone call. Once you knock something else out, something else comes right behind that, and it's gonna be like, oh man, I just got a phone call to go do this, and that, and that may be an even grander opportunity for you. So again, might just learn to move and shift on a dime, and you know what is stay ready so you don't stay ready so you don't have to get ready. You know what I mean? So yeah. But all right, I think I have ran my mouth enough. But yeah, man. So yeah, just y'all go out today, be amazing, and I will holler at y'all tonight about 9 o'clock. I'll go through the day, get my stuff done, man. What is going on, Miss Beyond Beauty? You're probably at work, so but yeah. But thank y'all for hanging out, and all that good stuff, man. And yeah, but just be mindful of the stuff that we talked about. If some of it resonated, great. The stuff that didn't, just leave that on the side. But all right, y'all. It's always about this peace, and don't forget to like, subscribe. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. So it's always about this peace.